I'm a
Okay,
slut
sorry.
for John Carpenter.
I need that on a shirt. I'm a slut for John Carpenter.
Dude, honestly, if you're Broen, you could just take for John Carpenter out of the question. Broen's just a slut.
I'm a slut.
All right. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. Angel, you're here for many, many reasons, but one of them is so we can go through, potentially for the first time. I'm not sure if you posted this anywhere on the internet, but your top 10 comic book films of all time.
Ooh, yeah, I know it's tough. No, this is the
That's a
toughest.
tough
This
list.
this is the toughest. This is the toughest ask of me today. To put out a top 10 comic book movies. There are so many great ones. That's
Yeah.
the thing. A lot of people online, I've noticed, like to be cynical towards movies. Which is really weird to me because it's like, if you love movies, why are we just tearing them apart all the time? Is that what gains the most attraction, I guess? And I don't know, it's weird. For me, I've always loved to highlight the greatness about movies, whether it be comic book movies, westerns, musicals, animated movies. There's a lot of great comic book movies. So I'm going to try my best to rank these 10.
Okay.
On a different day, the order is different, because I love them so much. But I wrote down for sure 15 that I love, and I think are, I guess perfect in a way. I don't know.
Dude, we should have just not told him what we wanted him to be, like, on the podcast. We should just be like, all right, no, like, out of nowhere, like, what do you guys want me on the podcast for? Like, while we're recording, let him know so we can do it on the spot. All right. Angel, floor's yours. We're just here to listen. We're ready. We're here to talk about him. I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna do an honorable mention for 11 through 15. Okay.
Perfect.
Amazing.
I won't elaborate. So these are the honorable for 15 through 11, and they might be controversial, but here are the honorable mentions. Logan. I know it did not make my top 10. I know this.
Wow.
But I need you guys to understand that I do think it is a perfect movie.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman's return, absolutely amazing. It's a riveting display of directing from James Mangold.
Yeah.
I love 310 to Yuma, and he brought some of that flavor to one of my favorite Marvel characters. So, Logan, Spider-Man No Way Home for 14. It could be considered the greatest comic book movie ever made, and the most ambitious one, considering its 20 years of storytelling all coming together and giving us just one of the greatest cultural moments in the history of man, right? So Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, dude.
13, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Again,
wow.
This is a perfect movie. This is a perfect movie. It is one of the most innovative animated movies ever. Miles Morales finally got his time to shine, and man, did he soar high.
Yeah, dude.
12, Blade.
Wow.
Blade. Wesley Snipes, come on, as Blade, one of the greatest castings of all time, and one of the most influential comic book movies to grace the 90s.
Yeah.
Without Blade, we don't have Spider-Man. We don't have X-Men.
That's right.
We don't have studios believing in blockbuster filmmaking with these comic book movies. So Blade has to be there. 11, Batman 1989, Michael Keaton.
Wow.
We saw him return after 31 years in the Flash trailer yesterday. Batman 1989 has to be in the top 15. I mean, we don't have Blade without Batman 1989, right? We don't have Blade. We don't have that.
Right.
Michael Keaton made Batman iconic.
Yeah.
He also gave us a more serious take on Batman, which influenced Batman the animated series.
Oh. Yep.
We don't have that theme from Danny Elfman without Batman 1989. Yep. We started taking superheroes and comic book movies and comic book shows serious after Batman 1989, and also Jack Nicholson as the Joker, iconic. Come on.
Yeah. We don't have Lego Batman without Batman 89.
Exactly.
No, we don't, baby.
And Lego Batman was awesome. Lego Batman was awesome.
So good.
Dude.
Okay, so that's my 15 through 11. Logan,
Amazing.
No Way Home, Into the Spider-Verse. Blade, and Batman 1989. Now we get into the top 10.
Top 10.
Okay.
Here we go.
Number 10.
And we can talk about this. You don't have to spitfire them. We can however long you want. Promise.
Okay, cool. Number 10. Superman the movie, directed by Richard Donner.
You see it's getting a new 4K release in like 2 months?
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, this for me, this has to be in my top 10 no matter what. Like, if you're asking me what comic book movies are you keeping, Richard Donner's Superman the movie has to stay.
Yeah.
It is the most influential comic book movie in the history of filmmaking, you know? Without Superman the movie, we don't have modern day comic book movies. We just don't.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige coined Superman the movie as the biggest inspiration for the MCU. And when you watch the MCU, you can tell that Richard Donner's aesthetic, tone, thematic themes are in the DNA of every MCU movie, at the heart of them.
Yeah.
Christopher Reeve made me believe that we can fly. He became that character. He embodied that character, even though some people doubted him. What? He's too skinny. He's too flimsy as Clark. But he showcased that it's not about the physique of Superman. It's not about the costume. It's about the heart. It's about what you put into it. It's about becoming a friend to all. And that's what it means to be Superman.
Yeah.
I love that movie. Even more so than Spider-Man, it influenced who I wanted to be as a person. And it's just to be a good person despite adversity.
I love that.
Wow.
I love that.
And I mean,
and John Williams' theme, come on. It's probably
dude.
Come on.
I have it on
Danny
vinyl.
Elfman's theme? Yes.
Wait.
Yes.
Hold
yes.
on.
The GOAT.
Oh yeah.
The GOAT.
Oh shit.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
Oh my god. And you know the subtle differences and the immediate switch that Christopher Reeve is a very underrated actor, I think, because there's I think a scene in either Superman 2 or 3 where I think Lois is threatening to shoot him to prove
2.
that he's Superman. It's
Mhm.
2,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes from Clark to Superman like that, and it is his posture is different, his facial structure is different. It's amazing. It's so amazing. And I mean, I love the newer Superman movies, but I think a lot of not just Superman movies but movies in general are missing the heart that movie has.
Yeah, and it's just something that you can't. It's just something that you can't act. You just have to have it. You know, when people ask me like, who else could have played, you know, Marty McFly? Nobody. Nobody else could have.
Right.
What do you mean? Marty McFly is synonymous to Michael J. Fox. Like Michael J. Fox brought that character to life by simply just being like himself. Really, that's exactly what Christopher Reeve did with Superman. You can't teach somebody to be Superman. You just have to be Superman. And that's why he's one of the greatest comic book castings of all time and one of the greatest comic book movies ever.
That's great.
That's so amazing. I didn't know that you love that movie so much, but knowing your love for Superman, I'm not shocked. So I'm so glad to hear that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I took my brother to go see it for the first time in theaters for an anniversary release.
Oh, that's awesome.
It blew his absolute mind. He was like, whoa, people saw this in the 70s? And sure enough, Richard Donner was built different.
That was
dude.
My mom will always remind me that was the first movie she ever saw in the theater.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
What a
and
great
the practical
movie.
effects of that movie too were impressive as well. Like the flying sequences, they still hold up to this day.
Yeah.
The same way that
dude.
A New Hope holds up to this day because it's real filmmaking.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
And the shot of like teenage Clark running with the train still looks amazing. And it's like
so good.
Dude, I mean, they didn't have all this CG. Like they had to do it, and it works, and it still works 50 years later almost. It's oh my god, dude. It's so I love that movie. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, number 9. And you know, I'm even surprised to see it this low, but honestly, I was just debating with myself. Number 9, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
How did I know it was going to be that? As soon as you said, I'm shocked that it's this low. I was like, watch it be Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
that's
Captain
crazy.
America, The Winter Soldier. I know. Arguably the best MCU movie ever. right?
It's up there.
What the Russo brothers did with Captain America, again, they modernized him. They gave us a new take. They gave us an espionage spy thriller starring Captain America.
Yeah.
Fighting, geopolitics itself. I thought it was very interesting. The Winter Soldier, fascinating antagonist. It was awesome, and it has some of the greatest, probably the best fight choreography in the entire MCU. The knife fight is absolute insanity.
Dude, when he drops it and then catches it again, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. And
wow.
the elevator scene.
You have Robert. Yeah, the elevator scene before we get started. Does anybody want to get out?
Yeah, dude. Oh man.
Yo.
Yeah, the Russo brothers gave us one of the best meme templates of all time.
Yeah, I love the Winter Soldier, man, and also Robert Redford in the movie. That's a classic Hollywood actor. He was fantastic as the villain. I also love that the movie is about the responsibility that we have to put on ourselves when it comes to security and weapon, and global security and stuff like that. I love that. Captain America had an internal struggle with what does it mean to what does freedom actually mean and stuff like that. This isn't freedom. This is fear.
Yeah.
I love that conflict.
Yes.
I love that conflict that he has with Nick Fury. It's awesome. It's a perfect portrayal of the character, and also the stealth suit. My goodness, was it just drippy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. And I haven't seen it in like a little over a year and a half. One of the first scenes, the scene on the ship, is amazing.
Yeah.
Right? Is that one of the first scenes?
Yes. It opens up with the boat scene. He jumps out.
Yes.
If I remember correctly, without a parachute.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god.
Too shy or
dude.
too scared? Too busy.
Too busy.
And you know what? Some of the best character moments in the MCU as well. I mean, between Scarlett Johansson and Chris Evans, there were some incredible moments in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Some amazing character moments. I love that.
Was
movie.
that your first
Great
kiss
pick,
since
Angel.
the 40s? That bad, huh?
Yeah, that was great. So number 8, above Captain America Winter Soldier. This is a hot take, but I have Captain America Civil War.
Nice.
Civil War for me. Everything that
I thought you were
going to
say the first Avenger because you said hot take. I was like, no way. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah, no. I love First
Great
Avenger.
movie,
I
though.
love First Avenger.
Great movie.
Yeah, great movie. But no. Winter Soldier and Civil War for me are on a different level.
Oh, absolutely.
I have Captain America Civil War at number 8 because for me, everything that Winter Soldier has, Civil War has. It's directed by the Russo brothers. The same tone. We're still dealing with geopolitics. It feels like an espionage thriller. But now, this time, we have more characters. Yeah. We have, Ant-Man, Black Panther, the introduction of Black Panther in the MCU. We have the introduction of Spider-Man in Civil War. We have Giant Man. We have these characters that are serving the story. And we also have the conflict between Iron Man and Captain America. Their clash.
Oh, my God.
Regarding the Sokovia Accords and also, Winter Soldier killing Iron Man's mom. That to me was so emotionally impactful. Their fight at the end topped anything that I saw in the Winter Soldier. So that is why I have Captain America Civil War over Winter Soldier for sure.
Oh, okay.
And
now I have a. Oh, sorry, Parker. Were you saying something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the Robert Downey Jr.'s acting in the scene where Tony finds out that the Winter Soldier killed his parents. I mean, that is some of his best. Not just in the MCU, but ever. I mean, he is really amazing. And I think, I think in the MCU it's kind of a little tough to showcase really great acting just because of the way it works. But in that, I mean, that scene and then everything afterward is perfect. It's just so amazing, and heartbreaking.
And it's crazy too because the whole movie you're riding with Captain America. Right, you're like, okay, I'm Team Captain America. I believe these heroes should operate on their own terms. Because I love what he says. He's like, well, what if the government sends us somewhere where we shouldn't be?
Yeah.
What if we have to be somewhere else? That's why I was riding with him.
Yeah.
But the Russo brothers do something very interesting. They make us turn maybe for a second emotionally because Iron Man goes, I don't care. He killed my mom. And then you're riding with Iron Man for a little bit. So it's like, you're they're tugging at our heartstrings, and we're like, well, who do we root for? I don't know. This is such an epic fight. I don't know what's going on. And then,
Yeah.
we actually lose something at the end of Civil War. Zemo, being one of my favorite MCU villains, manages to succeed as the villain and tear the Avengers apart. And
Yeah, dude.
we get to see those consequences with their follow-up, Infinity War and Endgame. So for me, Civil War is it's amazing. It is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really it does such a good job. I don't think any director, I mean, maybe, but in terms of direction, it's perfect, because a lot of the time I'm watching that movie, I'm on both sides because I fully understand both sides. It honestly also, for the first time, made me think of all of the negative effects that comic book heroes have on their worlds.
Yes.
And I never thought of that before. I mean, yeah, they saved a lot of people, but they also had a big part in the destruction of a lot of people's homes and buildings and even lives. And that is something I never thought about. And seeing them struggle with that was really fascinating to me.
Yeah, because you
I
could
completely agree.
you could say like, oh well, the attack on New York wasn't their fault. They're the reason that Earth isn't being conquered right now. But then the next Avengers movie, Ultron, 100% their fault.
Yep.
Yeah.
Iron Man's fault, really.
Yeah.
Iron Man's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's their arrogance,
So,
and it's fascinating to see, and I think it's perfect in that movie. And maybe my favorite MCU Spider-Man appearance is in that movie.
Yes.
I mean,
I think.
yeah, the Russo brothers know how to handle Spider-Man. They know how to handle,
Yeah.
I think, Marvel characters the best, honestly. Like, it's incredible to see the portrayal of Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Cap under the hands and vision of the Russo brothers. Like,
Yes.
whoa. They're all absolutely stellar in Civil War.
Yeah, agreed.
I fully agree with you 100%. All right, what's your number? That was number 8, right? Civil War?
Number 7. So this is number 6. Number 6.
Oh, wow.
I have arguably the greatest origin story for a comic book movie, a comic book character. It's Batman Begins. Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins at number 6.
Wow.
I mean, this is really the comic book movie that I think really defined or transcended the genre for the first time. Really transcended the genre. This is the first time where, you know what, this doesn't feel like a comic book movie. This feels like a film.
Yeah.
This feels like a film because Christopher Nolan, first and foremost, is a filmmaker. Right. So he took the character of Batman and brought him down to our level. Like the Joker says, he brought him down to our level. The Batman Begins is amazing. Hans Zimmer's score is one of the greatest film scores in cinema. I love the Batsuit. I love Christian Bale. Christian Bale is one of the greatest actors ever to live. Yeah. So for him to play Batman on a grounded level, I thought was awesome. For me, it's epic. When he says, "I'm Batman," like, oh man, it gives me chills.
It's
so
good.
Batman Begins for sure. And I thought the Ra's al Ghul twist was great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think it's the best Batman movie in that trilogy, if that makes sense. I think it's the most Batman, and I really struggle with that being my favorite of the trilogy. It's such a back and forth, honestly.
It is such a back and
really
forth.
Close.
It is like the most Batman movie. I mean, you see him go down a hall against the SWAT with bats surrounding him. Yeah. Like it's God. You really don't get more Batman than that. I love the relationship between him and Gordon. I think everything in that movie was just handled so perfectly, man. It is epic. And I love the way that Wally Pfister shot that movie too. They really made me believe that the city that they were in was Gotham.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, the training that he does. Oh man, it's just so good, dude. It's too good.
Yeah.
And
you see the edits of that scene, but it's Christian Bale holding a lightsaber instead.
Yes.
Oh my God.
People are like, Christian Bale needs to be in Star Wars. I'm like, yeah, he does.
Dude, make him Revan. Make him Revan.
Dude.
He needs to be Revan.
Holy shit, yes.
Yeah.
I also will say one great thing about Batman Begins is honestly how emotional it is, because Thomas and Martha's death will always be sad. It will always be one of the saddest comic book deaths, like origin deaths, when it comes to like Uncle Ben or Jonathan Kent. You know, that movie, the way they handled their death was, oh my God. You know Thomas's last words to Bruce, "Don't be afraid." Oh, oh,
Absolutely amazing.
and then
Why
talking
do
to
we fall, Bruce? Why do we
yes,
fall, Bruce? So we can learn to pick ourselves up again.
yes,
You know, those human themes are so powerful in the movie, and I love that they're presented through relationships. That's what I feel like Christopher Nolan, he shines as a filmmaker through the relationships that he establishes in his film.
yeah,
You know, you can have Bruce and Rachel, you can have Bruce and Alfred really steal the movie through their connection.
yeah.
And I love that. Even when the way that he reveals that he's Batman to Rachel was just so special. It's not what I do. It's not. He says,
It's not who I am underneath.
it's not, yeah, it's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me. Yeah. And then he swings away. Yo, like what? What?
Yeah.
Flies away.
It's great. I think a lot of people focus on like the Joker one-liners or the Bane voice, but no one realized how many good lines there are in Batman Begins. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
so many good
like,
lines.
does it come in black? That's a great line.
Yes. That's a great scene. I love. Nobody talks
Nice
about
coat.
Morgan Freeman enough. Yeah, dude. Nobody talks about Morgan Freeman enough in those movies. He's so good. And Michael Caine, the other Michael involved in Batman.
Just say my cocaine, and you sound like you're saying his name and his voice. My cocaine.
Michael Caine. Yeah, dude. I mean, he's so fantastic in those movies, and some of my favorite parts. Because he may not be as physically involved in Batman's life, I guess, if that makes sense, as some of the other Alfreds we've seen, but he's a very emotionally involved, and he is a lot of the times Bruce's moral compass when he's lost himself. You know, I think that is what really wins that trilogy over for me, is those moments. You know,
And I also love that Batman Begins is about overcoming fear, and they use the perfect antagonist for that with Ra's al Ghul, and also
And
Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow.
And Scarecrow.
What?
Yeah.
Like what? That was just nasty. Like, you know, Cillian Murphy. You want to see my mask? Like, oh my god! Like, yes,
yeah.
Cillian Murphy was awesome, man. Cillian Murphy
underrated
is
as well.
so
I
great.
think a lot of those movies get overshined by Heath Ledger, but there's a lot of really good stuff aside from him in these movies. You know.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I love
Cillian Murphy's Scarecrow is definitely one of them.
I love when Batman uses the gas on him, and you see like Batman's gross, like with the shit coming out of his mouth, and then he's talking to him, and he's like, "Dr. Crane isn't in right now, but if you leave a message," and I was just like, "Oh man,
he's here.
the Batman."
Yeah.
Oh
Yes,
my gosh, bro. It's so good. And
Amazing
the
scene.
practical effects that they use when Batman used the fear gas on him. Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Above Batman Begins at number 5, I have Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2002.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
This is
not
the-
surprised, but grateful.
This is the movie that, shaped who I am
course.
as a person. Danny Elfman's Spider-Man theme for me is up there with John Williams' Superman theme. On any given day, one is better than the other, but on most days, it's Danny Elfman's Spider-Man. The second I hear that first note, like it's
Yes.
just, I like start to cry. I start to cry tears of joy.
Yeah.
I'm sad. All the emotions are there in just that first note, because I think about how impactful that movie was. Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin, perfect casting. Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker, perfect casting. Uncle Ben, with great power comes great responsibility. The first bite, the first climb, the first swing, the relationship between him and Aunt May.
Yeah.
I love his love for Mary Jane, although she most of the time isn't really a good partner for him. But the love that he has for MJ feels just so real. Like that movie taught me like what love was before even understanding what it was or experiencing it for myself. The first Spider-Man's amazing, and that third act fight scene between him and Green Goblin is one of the most visceral fights in a comic book movie. For me, that movie stands it's just it's amazing. It's elite.
Yeah, MJ
Yeah,
and I,
it's-
we're gonna have a hell of a time.
A hell of a time. I was like, I don't even,
Dude.
as a kid, what does that even mean? I don't know, but he's a bad dude.
Yeah.
That's a
yeah,
bad dude.
yeah. And dude, oh,
That was good.
dude, and
Holy
a lot
shit.
of-
Right? So good. Come on.
A lot of
Willem
the
Dafoe in
CG
this
holds
chat?
up too.
Yeah, he
Like
showed up.
the shot of towards the end when he drops the tram of kids or whatever, and he like does that flip and lets go and then grabs it again.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Still looks so amazing. It
Yo.
looks so good. Dude, 21
whole
years later, it looks so
sequence.
good.
Yeah.
That
Oh
whole
my
sequence.
God.
Now choose.
Yes!
Yo,
And then
the shot, the shot
lens.
in the
Yes.
eyes. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
The lens shot, dude.
Cinema. And guess
Oh my
what?
God.
He gets both of them
Dude.
because
Yeah,
he's
dude.
Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my
Wouldn't,
gosh.
wouldn't it
Take
have been
notes,
a huge
Andrew.
loss? Yeah. yeah.
Every
Wouldn't it have
once
been
in a
huge-
while, there will be a lunatic with an impossible choice. Now choose. Yo.
Oh
Uh,
And the scene where Peter wakes up on the rooftop and the goblin is trying to convince him to work together is also
Yeah.
just so amazing. When he leans back and like smacks him on the head like they're friends. It's just like, wow. Willem Dafoe, like some of the best casting of all time. I mean, him and J.K. Simmons. Like, are you serious in the same movie,
Yeah.
dude? Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
it's so good.
Oh.
It's for me, it's perfect all around. You know, it's perfect all around.
Yeah.
It really is the greatest lesson of with great power comes great responsibility. The way they handle Uncle Ben's death, I mean, it is the epitome of Spider-Man. It is
Yeah.
the definitive adaptation of that character for me, really.
Mm.
You know, even if I
Absolutely.
go back to reading the best comics or watching the best animated series of this character, for me, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, that is Spider-Man. You know, even though they
Yeah.
changed the, mechanical web stuff, the organic webbing for me, it's like it's just so cool. Like I don't even
Yeah.
it doesn't even matter if it's like, best for the narrative. For me, it's sick. All right, it's
Yeah.
sick. He's
Oh,
Spider-Man.
dude. And
Did you know it
the
was James
scene
Cameron
where
that came up with that?
Yeah. And his
Yeah.
and his treatment for Spider-Man, he's the one
Yeah.
that came up with the organic webbing. I thought really cool.
the scene where he climbs a wall for the first time is one of my all-time favorite scenes in all of film because the score rising with him dum
Bum,
dum
bum,
dum
bum.
dude oh
bum,
my
bum, bum,
God.
bum,
Oh my God. It's almost scary.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
it's almost scary, and then it's not, and it's so amazing.
But you
yeah.
get like
and, like-
major trypophobia when it zooms in on his fingers with all of the grips.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
it's
right.
so
the little
iconic. It's so
stickies.
iconic. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it always
those moments.
Like, ugh.
As a fan
Shazam!
of horror, Shazam.
Shazam.
Go web, go.
Go.
Oh my gosh.
As a fan of horror and a fan of the Evil Dead
Mm.
movies from Sam Raimi,
Oh,
I also
yeah.
loved seeing him incorporate, similar shots, aesthetic, and also the tension, the sense of tension that you get in his movies. His greatest example of blending, heroism and also horror is in the sequel, which we'll talk about later.
Oh yeah, baby.
That was a teaser.
Dude, honestly, we could talk about Spider-Man 2002 forever. Once we do like a deep dive, Angel's got to
Forever.
be on that one.
Yeah,
Dude.
forever.
Oh, yeah.
I forever. I can talk about every scene for like an hour. It's crazy.
All right.
All right,
Number
coming in
four,
at number
right?
4. Number 4, we have
Yeah.
Avengers: Infinity War.
Wow.
Avengers: Infinity War for me was one of the greatest cinematic experiences of my life. For me, it really is a perfect comic book movie. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that movie.
I
the
agree.
pacing of that movie, which I think it comes in around 3 hours. I think 2 hours and 40 minutes, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
it's long.
It just goes by like crazy. The introduction to Thanos as my favorite comic book movie villain, they did not disappoint with Thanos. He is the absolute menace and unit that they had been teasing since the end of the first Avengers. Seeing him win the way that he did, wipe out half of the universe at the end of the film, left my jaw to the floor.
Yes.
I was speechless. And
Yes.
the anticipation for the next movie was killer for that next year.
Mm-hmm.
Avengers Infinity War is amazing. Seeing all the heroes on their separate journeys was so interesting. Everybody is like at their best. It is awesome. Thor's entrance to Wakanda, I was screaming.
Whoa.
Dude, so
Captain
was
America.
okay.
Yeah, Captain America's return. I was screaming.
You know
It was so memorable.
So like I said, I saw both Infinity War and Endgame first showing opening night. And I don't know why, but the crowd reaction, maybe your theaters were like this too, but for my theater, the crowd reactions for Infinity War were way more responsive than Endgame. Like, I mean, Endgame isn't a super crowd reactive movie until the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, for Infinity War, Thor arriving on Wakanda will always be that's like my favorite MCU moment fucking ever.
It's really good.
That movie has peak Thor, I think.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And him, you're about to taste the power of a dying star.
It'll kill you.
You're taking on the star, yeah. It'll kill you.
Only if I die. Yes, that's what killing you means.
Killing me. Yeah, I love it. It has the perfect balance of levity and also maturity that the story deserves. You know, with Thanos being the antagonist, it is something special, man. I'm telling you, when Captain America returned after the consequences of Civil War, and him, you know, fighting with Tony, him returning to save the Scarlet Witch and Vision. Bro was my favorite Marvel character for that instance. He was my favorite Marvel character because that was Steve Rogers.
when Steve was walking out of the shadows, whoo, I was gay for 5 seconds.
Yo.
I still haven't reverted back. I'm still thinking about it. Okay, 5 years later, dude, I'm like, wow. I wake up every morning, I'm like, that shot of Chris Evans with a beard and long hair, dude.
Yeah.
Yo, him coming out of the shadow. It was just the most gangster thing I've ever seen somebody do.
Yeah.
Well, and
you know,
catching
like,
the
what?
spear first. Catches the spear and then just walks out. Oh.
Dude.
Yeah. You see, but the most impressive thing about the MCU is that those moments don't work without all the previous things that they've, you know, planted, you know, emotionally and from different directors, from different composers, from different cinematographers. None of those moments work or have an effect on us unless the things that came before you know, operated well, and sure enough they did.
Of course.
And you know, for them to pull off a movie like Infinity War is the most impressive feat, honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was
100%.
incredible. It was
Amazing.
incredible. I think Infinity War might be the most satisfied I've ever been walking out of a theater. Like, of course I was pissed because the way it ended, and I was like, shit, now I gotta wait a whole nother year to find out like if everyone comes back. But like when it comes to the build up to that movie, I've never been more satisfied walking out of a theater.
Yeah. Yeah. Infinity War, I will say, is like the Empire Strikes Back for the MCU, for this modern day era. You know, I bet everybody remembers Luke losing at the end of Empire Strikes Back. You get that same feeling with Infinity War. That's what they went for, you know, with Thanos.
I 100% agree, because George Lucas in one of the many interviews is the reason he wrote it as one big story, you know, as a trilogy, is, you know, the first act you introduce the characters, the second act you put the characters in the deepest, darkest hole that they can't get out of, in the third act they finally get out. That's Avengers 1, Infinity War, and Endgame, you know, because obviously Age of Ultron is still very important. You know, we can't have the MCU without Age of Ultron. But when it comes to that, like, Infinity Saga storyline, it really is just 1, 3, and 4.
Yep.
And that's that trilogy that George Lucas is talking about. You know, you introduce the characters, you bring them all together in the Avengers, and then Infinity War, you put them in the deepest, darkest hole that they know that they can't get out of. And then in Infinity War or Endgame, they finally get out.
Yeah, and Harry Potter operates the same way too. You know, you introduce the characters, introduce the lore.
Yeah.
Let's see them lose big time, and then let's see them come back. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
It's
traditional storytelling. I love it.
Of course.
Great.
Above
great
Avengers, Infinity War. For number 3, I have hot take, Avengers Endgame.
Wow.
Wow.
You know, I was thinking
Avengers Endgame.
I was thinking when you said Infinity War, I was like, well, he hasn't said Endgame yet, and there's no way it's not going to be in his. It's not going to not be in his 15. So I was like, wow, he likes Endgame more than Infinity War,
Yeah.
which is totally respectable.
There's
For me,
been so
I-
much recent Endgame hate, and I don't know why. Like everyone just
Yeah.
like switched. Like, oh, it's just fan service. It's this. It's not a good movie till the last 20 minutes. I was like, dude, what? From start to finish, I love this movie. It was one of the.
Yeah.
It was. Oh my god, I don't get it.
No way. For me, I was like, how do they top Infinity War? How is that possible? But sure enough,
They did
Russo brothers never disappoint. For me, they did it. You know, you get to see the original 6 Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
You see them in a really dark place, all of them, really. Even Captain America, you know, you got to move on. You see all of them in a place of
love that.
hurt, right?
Yeah.
At a very human level. But then throughout the movie, we see again the resurgence of heroes.
Yeah.
What does it mean to avenge someone? Well, Endgame is the embodiment of the Avengers.
Absolutely.
We're gonna bring everybody back, you know, through one of my favorite plot devices in a movie, time travel. I love time travel.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, dude.
Back to the Future, Interstellar. I love time travel. You know.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see these characters that I've grown up with utilize time travel through the quantum realm, utilizing Ant-Man's technology to bring everybody back. It's like a heist film again, you know. Avengers Endgame
Time
is like
heist?
a heist film, a time travel film. Yeah, it's like a time heist film, which I think is really cool.
Absolutely.
And the portal scene. Talk about crowd cheering moments.
Oh,
The
yeah.
portal scene where everybody comes back. I lost my voice for a week and a half because of how emotionally connected I was in that scene. Seeing everybody come back, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Falcon, everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody to back Captain America. The shot of Captain America alone standing up to Thanos and his entire army is like my favorite shot in the MCU. Yeah.
It's a great
That's like
shot.
my favorite shot in the MCU because again, it's so true to his character. I don't like bullies. I don't care where they're from. You know, I'm going up against them. Captain America versus Thanos and his entire army. Favorite shot in the movie. And then, of course, cherry on top, Avengers assemble.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
dude.
Come on now. Absolutely ridiculous.
Have you seen
again for me? Endgame has what Infinity War has, and then some. Same reason I have Civil War on top of Winter Soldier. It has everything Infinity War has, and then some.
You know what I love about that scene,
all 4
though?
MCU Russo brothers movies in your top 10. That's nuts. That's crazy.
Yeah, because for me, I mean, back to back to back to back. I mean, what other
Bangers,
directors have 4 absolute bangers that are comic book movies?
In a row.
Yeah,
Nobody.
It's true.
You know what I absolutely love about the Avengers Assemble scene though? Because it's perfect. I wouldn't change anything about it, but it's very much for dramatic effect, you know, Avengers, and then the close up, and then he like says it to himself, assemble. And then I like just I could just imagine people in the back like, what did he say?
For real. Dude. But I remember during my experience, you know, the whole crowd, we were yelling and cheering throughout the whole movie because they earned it, right? They earned it as storytellers. They've earned it. Yeah. The respect that the audience had when he said Avengers, and my whole theater silenced because we had been waiting.
Yeah,
we'd been waiting for him to finally say it. And when he says assemble and then cheer, dude, that's how you know that they've earned our respect and trust as an audience.
Absolutely.
It's just really impressive filmmaking.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah. And there are 2 scenes in that movie that I will never forget seeing in the theater. There are a lot in that one, but ones that we haven't covered. The shot of a very skinny Tony Stark ranting to them when he takes the arc reactor off, right? And he's chewing him out, and he's saying, you know, you said we win together and we lose together, right? And he said we lost and you weren't there. Oh my God, dude. Yeah. It's heartbreaking, and it's because you've been seeing these characters have their differences, but still work together and come together in the end for what, 6 or 7, 8 years at this point.
Yeah.
And now they're not coming together, and it's heartbreaking. And so there's that scene, and then the shot. I don't know if you guys saw it coming, but I definitely did it when Thor cuts Thanos' head off, dude, out of nowhere.
Oh,
like
no.
20 minutes into the movie.
I did not see
Dude.
that coming. No.
I was just like, what do we do now? Like, where do we go from here? They did it.
Yeah.
I was like,
5 years
I've
later.
never seen that. Yeah,
Yeah.
never seen that, dude. Oh my God. So
Yeah.
I still love that movie, and I no one's ever gonna change my mind.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also about second chances. Second chances are important, and for you to take that opportunity to better a situation, or again, like I said, avenge someone.
Yeah.
That to me is just so emotionally compelling.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
And I will
fascinating.
say, well, okay, since I already started, I got to finish what I was going to say. But even though I do prefer Infinity War over Endgame, I was going to say, and I was more excited for Endgame because, the scale of it. I was about to say that Endgame is the most excited I'd ever been for a movie. And I know it's like hopping on the bandwagon, but in all honesty, I think No Way Home was the most excited I've ever been. Just because I knew, I knew that Toby and Andrew were going to be in it. But yeah, I thought it was Endgame, but it's not. I just remembered it was actually No Way Home. I'd never been more excited. But anyways.
Yeah. But see, that's the thing about, that's why it's so hard to rank these movies, because like No Way Home, yeah, like Tobey Maguire's return, for me, I always said like, oh, if they bring Toby back, that to me is like the best movie ever made. What?
Yeah.
Like
that's it.
what?
Yeah.
That's the best movie ever made.
Yeah.
They respect me as a person, as a friend. I'm forever loyal to the MCU. You know what? Like they care about me as a person if they're bringing Toby back. So
Right.
Yeah.
that's why it's so
100%.
hard. But it, that's why all these movies are elite, man. All these movies.
Yeah. And it's hard because you can rank them of, most excited or how much I love them compared to, incredible filmmaking. And that's where the Russo brothers come into play, because it's both for them. It's incredible
For them.
filmmaking, and I fucking love those movies,
Yep. Yep.
So I'm with you. So now we're at what? You're number
Number two.
or oh my God, top 2, dude.
Number 2. Top
Wow.
2. Number 2. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2.
Oh, yes.
2004.
Yes.
Amazing. Perfect movie.
Sam Raimi.
Perfect
Sam
movie.
Raimi takes the first Spider-Man and says, "Let me give you something even better.
Hold my beer. That's what he said.
Hold my
you know?
beer," he said. Hold up real quick. Hold my beer. I mean, this I could talk about Spider-Man 2 for hours. It really
Absolutely.
Yeah.
it's not just a perfect comic book movie. It's the perfect movie, really.
Yeah.
It's a great
perfect
movie.
It's about a Peter Parker, understanding the importance of choice, really.
Yeah.
In the first movie, it's about responsibility. But in the second one, it's about choosing the kind of person that you want to be, really.
Yeah.
Wow.
He struggles with himself. He struggles with identity. There's a lot of personal problems that he has, whether it's getting to his job on time, getting to class on time, balancing relationships. There's a lot of personal struggles that he has. But in the end, he learns to just better himself, be the hero that he needs to be, and sacrificing some of the things that he loves to enjoy in his personal life so that he can make his late uncle, proud, really, and save as many lives as he can. Alfred Molina as Dr. Octavius is just absolute bananas.
So good.
Oh my
the
God.
practical effects of the arms, the hospital scene.
Dude, oh my God, that video is so good. Oh my
So
God.
good. I love that video. The hospital scene where you see the surgeons working on him and trying to surgically remove
that
the
is
arms.
that Sam Raimi
Oh my
horror.
God.
Yeah.
That is that Sam Raimi horror that I was
Yes.
talking about, that,
It's
he
scary.
developed in Evil Dead and perfectly executed in Spider-Man 2 and said, let me traumatize a generation of Spider-Man fans so they'll never forget it.
There's one shot that I will never not see in my nightmares, and it's the shot of her being dragged into the shadows and her nails on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, And honestly, also the wide shot of him just laying there like this, and the arms, dude, his body moving involuntarily with that is what's so scary to me. It's like the
axe too. That Ash Evil Dead reference. The axe trying to take the arm off. So cool.
And you know,
so
it's
cool.
You know,
Absolutely
it's awesome?
horrific. They don't make movies like that anymore,
Right?
kids. They don't make movies like that.
And there's not even any music. There's no horror suspense music. It's just the screams
Sound
of
effects.
the doctors. It's
you don't need
just,
it. And a shot I see a lot, but nobody like really talks about is seeing Spider-Man swinging through the city. And then zooming out
through
and
the
it being through his son.
Oh yeah.
My God, dude.
Yeah, those stylistic choices are forever ingrained in my mind. But speaking of him swinging through the city, the shot of Spider-Man swinging through the semi trucks. Yeah. I mean, it's just so immersive. The camera work is just there's nothing like it. Like there's no other Spider-Man movie, whether they be good or great. There's no other Spider-Man movie that really captures how it feels or what it looks like to be Spider-Man, you know, like,
or
I don't know.
The train when he's fighting on the side of the train and then he like turns and puts his back up against the train and he's like pinned in between the two.
Dude, you know, there's a lot of great actions. There's a lot of great action cinema. But for me, the train sequence, the entirety of the train sequence of Spider-Man versus Dr. Octopus, the fight on the train, the fight inside the train, Spider-Man saving the people on the train. And that for me is the greatest action set piece in the history of cinema.
Yeah. And they all saw his face and they're like, we won't tell nobody. You know, thank you for saving our lives.
Made a choice. They made a choice to preserve Spider-Man's identity so that he can keep saving the day. The movie's all about choice, and Sam Raimi made perfect choices in that movie.
It's so good.
Oh, dude. We were talking about our last episode was ranking Spider-Man movies, and we were talking about the one shot of him swinging through the city at night, and there's no music, and it's just, and then, you know, obviously he loses his powers, but that is such a beautiful scene, and seeing him swing, you know, calmly, just hearing the wind, like you're with him, you know what I mean? And that's something missing from a lot of the other Spider-Man movies is you're with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And watching those scenes as a kid growing up, I was like, yo, this looks so real. But growing up, I learned, wait, this was all CGI? Like the sequence of him losing his powers was all CGI? That's some of the greatest CGI I've ever seen. It's crazy.
2004!
To this day. Yeah, 2004. And it still looks good. Like it is pure movie magic. I love that in the movie he loses his powers because of, you know, he's in an emotional distress, and he regains them when the love of his life, of course, is in danger. The shot where Dr. Octavius throws a car at him, and he saves MJ. Oh my goodness!
Now, there is a debate on whether she deserved to be saved or not, considering her decisions, but it's a different story. She could have gone, and we would have been okay.
And he even made.
I want the cut where he just dodges it but doesn't do anything for her. He just gets out of the way and lets her get demolished.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you want to kiss something? Kiss this car."
Yeah. How's your astronaut husband? You know what I mean? Oh yeah. Have him save you in your rocket ship.
Yeah. Spider-Man 2 is a film. It is a film.
It's a film indeed.
Oh my God. And we're here. Guys. We're at number
one.
We are number one.
Now tell us again how much you love Morbius so much.
That's what I thought I just said.
Jared Leto is Morbius. No, number one. For me, number one. The greatest comic book movie ever made. Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight.
Yup. I knew it.
Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight.
I was like, it's either The Dark Knight or The Batman.
Yeah, to this day. Yeah, I didn't even mention the Batman in the top 15. Isn't that crazy? That's how good.
Crazy.
That's how good these movies
are. It's hard.
Are.
It's so hard.
Let me put the Batman in here real quick.
Hang on, we're gonna do the whole list over again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, tomorrow, let's redo this, guys, so I can put the Batman in here.
The Dark Knight's 1, and the Batman is like 0.5. It's
Yeah.
really close.
Yeah, the Batman is 1.5.
Yeah.
No, the Dark Knight for me is it's the greatest comic book movie ever. I think it is
Mhm.
the one that truly transcends the genre itself.
Agreed.
Christopher Nolan was like, you know what? Let me take Batman Begins and let me combine it with Michael Mann's Heat, and let's throw in Heath Ledger as the Joker, and let's make some history here. And that's exactly
Mhm.
what they did. For me, really, what puts this at number one, really for me, it is Heath Ledger's Joker. It is. For
Right.
me, Heath Ledger as the Joker is the greatest acting performance
Ever.
that I've ever seen.
Ever.
That I've
Wow.
ever seen.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have never seen somebody else other than Daniel Day-Lewis truly transform into something else. Something else completely. Heath Ledger became the embodiment of anarchy, chaos, mania as the Joker.
Yeah.
He proved every single doubter and hater wrong, to deliver just one of the most beautiful performances ever. The voice, the dialogue, the
mannerisms.
Yeah, the mannerisms, everything about him was the Joker.
Yeah.
And to see him play against Christian Bale's Batman, it's just one of the most fascinating things that I've gotten to witness as a lover of film. The interrogation scene, I will take that scene over anything that I've talked about this entire time. I will take the
Wow.
interrogation scene over anything.
We like agree
Hans-
everything with everything on The Dark Knight, because that interrogation scene is like my favorite movie scene ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to kill you.
What
What would I do without you?
Go back to
Go back
ripping
to
on
ripping off. Yeah, exactly,
oh my
man.
gosh,
Like what? Like we can
It's
say
so
the whole
good.
movie. You know, it's like, no, you
complete me.
Like, oh man, it's perfect, man. I love The Dark Knight. Parker, I saw your hot take video on The Dark Knight. No, this is why I put it at number one, just for you, Parker. Just for you.
Angel's like, I actually haven't even
complete me.
seen the movie. I'm just doing this for Parker. No, and it's so hard because I've posted about the movie a couple times, like in that kind of thing. And so many people take it as negative, but it's not saying the things that I think, transcend this movie for people, and even I may think are overrated, don't make this even close to bad. And that's what a lot of, especially on TikTok, I think people confuse is overrated, or I don't think it's the most amazing thing ever does not mean bad. I think it's an amazing movie. I've never been completely sold on Christian Bale, but as Batman, not as an actor. Sorry, let me clarify. But that movie sells me the most, I think. Even though I think the first one is a better Batman movie, I think he really becomes Batman in this one, if that makes sense,
Yeah, no, he truly is a Dark Knight. Like it just every aspect about this movie. I could talk about The Dark Knight for hours. Every aspect about this movie. I mean, Christopher Nolan just took Batman Begins, and again, he just turned it up a notch.
Yeah.
He just turned it up a notch with the use of IMAX cameras.
Yeah.
With the scale of the narrative. It's a cat and mouse game between Batman and Joker. Joker is the antithesis of Batman. What is Joker trying to do in The Dark Knight? He is trying to crack Batman because you're just too much fun. You're too much fun to kill. You're just you give me purpose. I love that. I love that.
Dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one if I
caught
it. I just do things.
Exactly. You get it. You get it. Like, exactly.
Yeah.
I love the fact that he's trying to prove that Batman is just like him. No, but I'm going to prove that Batman will break his one rule.
Yeah.
Hit me. Like, it's just,
I'm considering
like, like, come on, man. Just the conflict between Batman and Joker is fascinating. The conflict between Gordon and trusting the Force itself is fascinating. Harvey Dent, Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent. Nobody talks about him enough.
Dude, nobody.
Because he stole the show. But Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent. I believe in Harvey Dent. I believe in Aaron Eckhart. Absolutely compelling. Everybody, you could nominate everybody in that movie for an Academy Award. Like it just,
Oh yeah.
it's that good. The semi truck flipping, the boat scene, I love that. Bruce proves to Joker that there is still good in this city. There is still hope in this city. Not everybody is just as cynical or ugly as you, and I have proven that.
And
with the prisoners and the civilians.
And I love that scene when the prisoner takes it and he's like, "Give it to me, and I'll do what you should have did 10 minutes ago." And then he tosses it out the window. Oh,
yeah. No, it's a perfect display of empathy, and that's exactly what Joker cannot stand: empathy, because of whatever he went through in his backstory. Right? We never know. It's a mystery. It's what makes him such a great villain to.
Hey, it's Parker. We had some technical difficulties right about now, and all of our audio cut out. Luckily, Angel was finishing his thought, so we didn't lose much. Here's the rest of the episode. I apologize. All right. Anyway, back, I think, hopefully from technical difficulties. If you didn't realize from the last 30 minutes of quoting The Dark Knight, that's Angel's number one. Wow,
that's how you know. That's how you know.
Yeah,
it's simple. We kill the Batman.
Dude, the next time we need
to. God, we can just quote that movie back and forth. If you're good at something, never do it for free.
Next episode you're on, we're gonna have lots of questions for you, but we only want you to answer in the Dark Knight quotes. That's what I want.
Okay,
That's
good.
all I want.
I will be
then
ready.
The next episode after that, Parker's gonna be like, "Hello and welcome." In this episode, Barrow and Angel are just gonna reenact the entire Dark Knight movie from memory.
But it's gonna be like a 6-hour long episode because like every line you're like, "Fuck, am I recording?" Oh wait, hold on. Oh man, I don't know. The internet is insane. But
wait.
That was a great list.
I have one quote that kills me every time that I gotta put out there because it is one Joker quote that kills me every single time, and it's that mob scene when he's like, "If we don't do anything now, soon, Gamble won't be able to get a nickel for his grandma. Enough from the clown." And then he's like, "You think you could just steal from us and walk away?" Yeah. I fucking love that so much. That was, let's not blow this out of proportions.
It's amazing.
It's just so good. It's so good.
Yeah, but guys, The Dark Knight for me, that's
my number
one.
That's it.
Out of this 15.
That is a top 5 favorite movie for me ever. That is my favorite comic book movie of all time. I'm so glad I've met someone that agrees. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, Angel's the first person that agrees with you that The Dark Knight's the best comic book movie. No, you're so full of shit.
Hang on, dude, hang on. Listen.
I'm done listening to you. Angel's my new co-host. You're out. You're out. We need diversity, all right? Nobody needs 2 more white guys having a podcast, dude.
Hold on. The Wicked Witch of the East. Hold on.
The Wicked Witch of the East, bro. No, I was just saying because you, Parker, obviously don't agree, and that's fine. And then when we had Brian on ranking the Batman movies, he has Batman at number 1, which again is totally understandable. I'm just saying, like, finally, I'm talking to someone on this podcast that thinks that The Dark Knight is the number 1. And also, my favorite Marvel movie of all time is also Spider-Man 2. So,
well, I mean,
and gasoline.
At the end of the day, dude, you could throw a penny and probably hit somebody with both of those being their favorite movies. So I'm happy for you, but it was gonna happen at some point. I mean, we literally could have just like sent the link into like the atmosphere, and somebody would have logged in and be like, "Yeah, The Dark Knight's my favorite too." Like, it's not. I'm glad it's yours, but anyway, Angel, I'm so grateful that you're here and that you did this with us, and you have a great list. Fantastic.
It's a really good list.
Hey, it's my pleasure, guys. I was really looking forward to talking with you guys. You know, most importantly, regardless if we got the audio or not, like I just had a really great time talking to you guys about movies.
Yeah, of course,
that's amazing. Man. And hopefully you enjoyed it enough to do it again. If not, we completely understand. We get it.
No, absolutely, man. I would love to do this again.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Wow.
We'd love to have you again. This is fun.
Great list. Do you have anything you want to give everyone your socials and everywhere they can find you, please?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter and TikTok, BlurayAngel or BlurayAngel 11 specifically. But yeah, you guys can find me online. Just search up BlurayAngel. My YouTube, you can find me. It's the Goat Movie Podcast on YouTube. So those are for my socials, BlurayAngel and the Goat Movie Podcast.
Nice.
Amazing.
Nice.
Amazing. Well, I have nothing more to say at all. Not even a little bit. We've covered it. Unless we just want to start talking about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. I have nothing else to say.
Or just continue quoting The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Let's quote the Silence of the Lambs.
I want to be the lamb. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, this is sincerely. I'm so grateful that you were here, Angel. I've been a big fan of you for a while. And when we became mutuals, I was really grateful. Now that I'm speaking to you in person and about something that all three of us share a love for, it's a really beautiful thing, and I'm very grateful. I love you guys.
I don't know if
Thanks,
we're
man. Yeah,
I don't
likewise,
know if we're mutuals. I've followed you for a while, but I don't know if we're mutuals yet.
Yeah, let me go ahead and fix that. I'll fix that right away. I sometimes notifications do slip,
dude.
Do slip through,
bro. And you're honestly, just like
even my coworkers are like, "Hey, I followed you 2 weeks ago. What's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, you did? No way."
Yeah, bro.
Let me fix that right away.
Bro, you're so slick about it. You're like, yeah. I just don't know if you follow me back or not. That's so silly.
Oh man, we're not mutuals.
And like before the podcast, he was like, he just followed me back.
Hold on. We're not mutuals.
Anyway, yeah, this is amazing.
No, I'll fix that right away, bro.
Angel, I'm glad you did this, and we would love to have you again. Maybe we'll do like bottom 10. We'll finally get you to say something negative. We'll get you doing bottom 10 comic book movies. That's the goal here.
We'll do bottom 10 next. Let's do it.
Amazing. Well, if you have nothing else to plug, thank you, and thank you guys for listening. Broen, do you have anything else?
I don't think so. I'm trying to think of another Dark Knight quote, but like nothing is coming to mind.
I'm sure the word
the old good cop, bad cop.
Oh my god, dude! It would be so funny if like the next clip is like me asleep in the chair while you guys are just still quoting the Dark Knight to each other.
We'll just like
very
3 hours later. Of words.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, thank you. Love you guys. Go watch a movie. Go hug your friend. Go tell someone you love them. And that's all I care about.
Love you. Bye.